Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war, but there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people, he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better read than dead, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools. And our honored dead, who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis, didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay. There is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn they're spirits, not animals. He said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Logbook Podcast. I'm here with Dakota.
Hey, y'all.
And I am Kim. We took a long break over the Christmas holiday season. Unfortunately, we had some deaths in our families, but gave us some time to think and reflect and come back stronger. So we're going to start today with what?
We're starting with, well, first we got to thank Common Denominator.
Oh, yeah.
First of all.
We also like to thank our sponsors, Common Denominator Network and Conservative Sisters. It's great to be back, and thank you again for hosting our podcast.
Yes, thank you very much, you guys. And guys, we got a great show for you tonight, don't we?
Yes, we do. We have a very guest who we will bring on here in a second. But in other news, because always military news and veteran news is other news. What we got today?
Well, today, a Russian officer admits to torture Ukrainian troops. Sounds like a peace campaign for Jane Fonda.
That is our daily reminder to always hate Hanoi Jane.
If only she had time in between her scheduling of Botox and chemical peels. You know, it's just darn, not enough hours in the day.
And she still looks like Skeletor. Just saying. U.S. earlier this week decided to expand presence in the Philippines to combat China.
Well, if Biden had ever played a risk in his life, he would know that the worst place to start world domination is in the Pacific Islands. However, it's the best place to breed a virus.
Asia.
Well, the Philippines, for sure.
Yeah, with that, we have breaking news. All the rates for supply in the United States Navy are now full.
Darn it.
Bringing us to China. Last week and earlier this week, I believe it was last week or earlier this week, that 4-star general.
Oh, yes, the 4-star general, Mike Minahan. That's his name, Mike Minahan. I hope I'm saying that right.
Mini hands.
Mini hands.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
He expects us to be at war with China by 2025.
If you want my opinion, pull out all your money in Bitcoin, put it into Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. Because if that's not a warning sign, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I just, the politics of the military nowadays, everything into defense finances, and that's how you make your money.
Right.
That's why the base is also in the Philippines.
Cheapest land out there.
They think it's for motivation, increase the via supply.
Increase the supplies, just...
Y'all have never had lumpia, for all you civilians watching, unless you've had lumpia made on a ship.
Oh, don't even get me started on.
That's how you get GERD. But I think it's kind of funny is that, do you remember earlier this year, well, not this year, last year, didn't the Philippines get into a conflict with Canada?
Over all their garbage? Yeah. And I guess Trudeau thought if you can't see the garbage, it's not a problem.
Yeah, so. That's their new Green Deal for Canada. Can you imagine that? They actually thought the Philippines were actually about to declare war on Canada. How do you think that went? Hey, buddy.
Oh, do you think I give a fuck? Just...
That's your funny guy. That's your
clean this
funny.
up.
Holy crap. Something in big news too is not many people know this, but of course something was signed at the 11th hour again. As of January 1st, the NADD, the National Defense Medal, will no longer be given to new active duty personnel.
Yeah, because there's no more war in America.
No. You
win, hippies. We have no more war.
I don't think a lot of people realize what that means to actual veterans when these active duties turn into veteran status, because there is a pay period in a time of peace between the Vietnam War and Desert Shield, Desert Storm. So if you were not in a time of war and you were injured, you did not get a lot of disability benefits. You had to serve in a conflict area. This is thus proving that word, stop bullets.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else to add on that?
I think that is it in other news, but we have other stuff for you. We have the VA convoluted news because let's face it, veterans don't get straight answers.
No, they don't. They don't. There's nothing consistent about veteran affairs. Concerns Veteran for America has released care operation, or my bad. There's no operation.
There is no operation.
They're operator scripts. And we all know what the damaging of these, or the damage that can be done with these operator scripts. Again, back to Canada. And over the phone, they'll help you kill veterans. But anyways, these scripts are to discourage veterans from being outsourced. In the North Florida and South Georgia VA, out of almost 2,000 appointments, only 3% of those were denied by veterans. The VA does not keep track of those denied or doesn't offer them in the first place.
If you needed another reason to hate Florida Georgia line, I mean, there you go. But no, it's absolutely ridiculous that these people are just, these veterans, our fellow veterans, are getting denied health care just to save a buck. And can you imagine that phone call? Like, hi, yes, yeah, I can see you need an appendectomy. However, it's Black History Month.
That's exactly how it happened.
How about March 32nd?
How does that sound? But also the VA's learned a way to actually get around Mission Act, as they always do, is always get out of your job instead of sit there and be the paragon of healthcare and set an example to civilians and the rest of the world in exemplary healthcare. They just sit there and they cancel appointments and they reschedule them. That's what they do. Just keep cancel, reschedule, keep canceling and rescheduling. and they have been caught red-handed this year. But however, in 2021, were they not caught by another news media?
Oh, they were.
And we're going to bring that video up right now.
A backlog of canceled doctor's appointments causing one veterans advocacy group to sound the alarm.
Group warning, we could see another wait time scandal worse than the one in 2014 when so many veterans died while waiting to see a doctor. Tonight, top officials at the Phoenix VA speaking out after we highlighted the many concerns from advocates. ABC 15's Sonu Wasu with more on this developing story.
The VA canceled something like 19 plus million appointments, and they will not tell us how many of those veterans they've reconnected to services.
Sam Rogers, an Afghan war veteran, is with the group Concerned Veterans for America. He's talking about appointments canceled during the COVID-19 pandemic. While Rogers says VA health officials have yet to answer their requests for information, ABC 15 did hear back from Washington, D.C. officials right after our story aired last week, asking the same question.
It's still something we're recovering from and even trying to figure out now that we're into this new wave, right?
Dr. Cameron Matthews is the Assistant Undersecretary for Health for Clinical Services at the VA. She points out, like other community hospitals, it is important to note that VA never shut down during the pandemic.
They shut down for 3 months.
Setting year for the number of telehealth appointments conducted by the VA.
That care was rescheduled. It was handled virtually. It was handled even by a telephone call. Prescriptions were done electronically. All veterans' needs were met.
But VA watchdog groups like Concerned Veterans for America say they continue to hear from dozens of veterans who are telling them they cannot get an appointment fast enough. And they tell us the VA is not following the Mission Act, a law that requires any veteran who cannot get an appointment within 20 days be given permission to see an outside doctor.
And we're continuing to improve how we handle referrals, really that administrative side of receiving appointments in the community. Those times are decreasing as well.
Dr. Matthews says VA wait times are below national standards. As to how many of the 19 million canceled appointments the VA has been able to reschedule, healthcare officials have sent us this statement saying they're confident all veterans who had canceled appointments continue to have opportunities to shift their care to telephone, video, or when safe, in-person appointments based on their needs. Sonu Wasu, ABC 15,
You
Arizona.
can deliver a baby over the phone. Imagine that. That's great. That's some great. That's some great. That's a miracle.
I don't know what kind of fetish that is, but there's got to be a website for it.
I don't know. We're redefining science right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if men can have babies, I mean, you've been doing it forever.
I should have a baby on the telephone.
You should be able to. Yeah, you should be able to text.
That is the power of my uterus now. Yeah. Okay, is that the end of it?
Yep.
All right, there we go. So that's all for the news. We'll keep you update on veteran affairs. But moving on, we have someone very, very special to you today. And that guy brings us to the local news here in Houston. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So was it last week or the week before? We had an F3 tornado that came through Houston.
In Houston.
Yes, it was insane. There was mass damage, but thank God no one was killed or injured. Nobody.
I think there was like one injury and a few animals in the dog shelter, but we're going to go ahead and for those of you who are not from Houston, y'all need to take a look at this and see what our community is going through.
People living near the Texas Gulf Coast starting to clean up. There was a tornado that touched down yesterday.
Yeah, Shannon is here with a look at all the damage.
Well, and Brandon, while we were dealing with rain and some snow south of us, a tornado caused quite a bit of damage. And the powerful twister first hit Pasadena, southeast of Houston, then cut a path through Deer Park and Baytown before it disappeared. It knocked down utility poles and power lines, flipped vehicles, and derailed a train, which sparked a dangerous fire. High winds ripped the roofs off homes and businesses. And in Deer Park, that tornado hit a daycare center, causing panic for parents. The damage blocked the roads and made it difficult for them to get to the facility.
I was at that light and I was talking to my best friend and I was like, I can't get to them. Some things like happened. I didn't know if I couldn't get them to answer the phone. So I just got out of my car and started running. And the fire station, the fire officer was like, it's okay. Everybody in the daycare is okay. Because he already knew. So it was just, I didn't know that it was this bad.
The tornado destroyed an animal shelter in the city of Pasadena. About 70 animals had to be taken out of the shelter, and some of the dogs had minor injuries. Volunteers brought crates and food and other supplies and helped try to find other facilities and shelters and foster homes. 67,000 customers reported power outages in the Houston area last night. Thankfully, no injuries were reported.
That was an absolutely horrific event. I have friends and that live in that area, and I remember watching live their videos on social media, and I freaked because the weather was bad up here too. But I will say I love the people of Houston. It was just like Harvey. When everything happened, everyone came out of the woodwork. We are still Texas, and neighbor was helping neighbor. And one of those neighbors, I was one of our guests. He is with American Veteran Roofing and Restoration. And we are going to say hello and welcome Mr. Danny Byrd.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Danny? How are you doing?
Tired.
Tired.
But
I bet.
There's a lot of work out there to be done, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of cleanup. There's a lot of people that still need our help. There's a lot of just areas in the community that we that have been affected that we're trying to get to right now. So
yeah. Well, some of the reasons that we wanted you to write here or onto the show is that we do know this is that usually in times of trouble in Houston is that the veteran community will come out and show a strong force every single time. And we know I saw some pictures on social media of you were offering free tarping to anybody. I know that must have kept you busy. And here's the thing is that the rain was still coming down. And were you out there in that?
yeah, so we were out there performing inspections and property inspections. Some of my guys I made sure that are newer, I made sure didn't get on the roofs and everything, but me and a couple of my guys were out there during the rain and everything, trying to make sure, getting tree branches off of roofs that were pierced through, making sure to document everything so the insurance company, so we have a record of it. And then just trying to make sure that the roofs were covered and people's belongings and personal effects weren't getting destroyed or further loss, as the insurance company calls it, wasn't happening. So,
and that moves us on. Do you got any questions about it?
Yeah. So, going on the insurance companies, is there something that that homeowners should know, like how to speak to their insurance company or what to expect from their insurance company whenever they have a damage or a loss, as you call it?
Yeah. So, like one of the things I can't stress enough is documentation. Pictures. Like people got to realize, dude, the insurance is not here to help you. Like in the sense of they're not your friends. Like they're here to do a job. And don't get me wrong, there's contractors out there too that are going to try to take advantage of you. Be wary. That's all I can say. Like, for instance, if I have a homeowner that doesn't want to sign a contract with me, that's cool. One of my missions is to be of impact to my community, to be of service to my fellow man. So I'm not going to refuse to do a property inspection because somebody doesn't want to sign a contract with me. That's pretty shitty. What I'm here to do is be able to make sure that they have all the information they need, that they're protected, that they're safe, that they're well equipped to be able to talk to their insurance company. I would say documentation is key on everything. Pictures. If you have personal belongings that get destroyed and you have receipts of it, or if you have bank transactions, keep that. Make sure that you have a contractor that's insured first off. And that comes highly recommended. You know, like there's a lot of fly-by-night roofers. We call them, the chuck in a truck. They offer what's, called the taillight warranty. It's your roof is warranted until you can no longer see their taillights. it's not good. You know, the statute of limitations in the state of Texas require 4 years. A lot of workmanship warranties are farther than that. Mine's 6 years and 10 years. Make sure that you have a reliable person. Don't go after somebody who's just salesy. Like at the end of the day, yeah, we make money off this. This is our livelihood. That's not my main objective. My main objective is to be of service.
Yeah, I did. That's something that I personally absolutely love about your company is that, I heard people sit there and saying, oh, well, I want to do that now. I can't afford this out. And they were talking to me like they were picking up a pair of Jordans at the mall. And the way that when you came to us and you explained it, it's a service. I'm here to help you. And then when, you came out and you did our roof inspection, it was from a standpoint of safety, concern for our family, and concern from our investments. And another thing that I hear from people that that I'd like you to address also is, it's should people do the roof before storms or after storms? A lot of people say, oh, I'll wait till the next hurricane or I'll wait till the next event. How should people
how should people address that question? Is it better to wait till after the storm, or
it kind of reminds me of like, do I get a cast before or after I break my arm? It's like, but in the same sense, it's like, how about you don't break your arm? Like, it's like, how about you don't, like, if you have a roof that is sustained damage, it's like, oh, well, we'll worry about it a little bit. Okay, cool. Did you know it's also your responsibility per your policy? And I'm not a public adjuster. I have to say that for the record. I'm not a public adjuster. I'm just going off what my policy says, so I can refer to my own policy. It says that you as a homeowner are responsible for preventing further loss to your property. So if you have somebody that's documented, or if you have any signs of leaking inside, so on and so forth, like, you can be penalized for that because you have not done your due diligence as a homeowner and property owner. Like, you don't own that home. People want to argue with me. If you have a mortgage on that home, you don't own that home. You just happen to live in a home that a bank lets you live in. So there are different things. I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just here to make sure you guys are armed with the facts. Like, bottom line, knowledge is power. So the more that you guys know, the better it is that we're able to help you out. So you're going to want to get your roof replaced before major storms happen. So think about it this way. And tornadoes are not common in this area. So most roofs are warranted for 130 at top, 130 miles an hour. Okay. So then let's just say average 110 to 130. If you get an F3 or F4, F5 tornado coming through, I don't care what type of fucking roof you have. Bye-bye. So that being said, if you have a storm like a hurricane come through or a bad weather storm and everything, and it's like, if you sustain a loss, do you want to take the chance of getting all your personal belongings destroyed along with it? Do you want the headache of having to deal with what could have been a roof replacement to having somebody come in and have to replace everything inside your home and so on? It's like, yes, the insurance will pay out more for that to happen. And I love when that happens, because if people aren't aware that they have leaks inside, I can come out and I could do a full report and give them a due diligence report of a photo inspection and explain it all. That's awesome. That's my job. Sadly enough, that people don't realize that, like, they've been living in an area that's had mold in it, and they wonder why their health has declined. They wonder why there was moisture buildup on the backs of their picture frames. They had to throw their belongings out. There's different little things like that where it's like, hey, plus it's like, do you want to take the chance of having a really shitty roof and a hurricane come through and rip it off? And like, do you want to put your family in danger? That's what I guess I'm asking to, there are three, this isn't a new pair of shoes. What are the three things we require in life? Food, water, and a what? Roof over our head.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
See, I'm just like, I'm totally sucked in. That's why I love you so much on the way you do it. You make it's sensible and it makes sense.
Absolutely.
And you're right. You're 100% right. It is a service, but yes, it also fulfills the need. And I think people get a little bit complacent and comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You totally showed us that. But onto that, there is something very special that you do. You are also a veteran. That's hence your American Veteran Roofing and Restoration. So if you could tell us a little bit about your service.
So I always joke around. I tell people, I'm like, yeah, I was a Boy Scout once. So I was Army. I was 92 Romeo, which is a parachute rigger. And I was in the 82nd Airborne, 11 Quartermaster. I loved it. I loved it. Sadly enough, I got really fucked up. Oh, I got messed up. I don't know which word you want to use for editing. So, but I got injured. I had a partial malfunction in one of my parachutes during one of my jumps. And I ended up hitting the earth very hard. And I had 2 subdermal hematomas from it. And my brain was bleeding for 10 days before I went to the hospital and realized that I was hurt. So I woke up at 2:33 in the morning on March 4th, 2012, I believe. And my nose and ears were bleeding. And I started throwing up. And I've had enough concussions because I'm a boy. Rough. And I know head trauma and nausea don't go hand in hand. I got rushed to I'll never forget, Specialist Barry came and picked me up from CQ, rushed me to the ER. I passed out in the parking lot. I woke up, went into there, and got rushed into emergency brain surgery. It messed up. 12 days later, had surgery again. My brain got cauterized in 3 spots. I have 3 holes in my skull from it. And I had a whole long list of rehabilitation after that. I had to learn how to walk again, talk again, perform proper grammar structure without chewing my tongue off. They cut through the muscle in my head. It looked like I had a stroke. I was super attractive back then. Just
you dropped them pennies, honey.
Yeah, that was a big portion of the military was I miss my brothers like crazy. I miss them. I mean, we all deal with we get out. Can I tell them a little bit more story now?
Yeah.
So I got out. I did not know how to adapt back to this side of the world for a lot of different reasons. And I ended up drinking and drugging. There wasn't a whole lot of options available for me through the VA and through other places. And then when the help was available through the VA, you get a bunch of men in a room and their prides take over. You get us to want to talk about things, and we're telling war stories because we can cope with having somebody die in our arms. We can cope with having friends blown up next to us. We can cope with having all these different things by joking about it, sadly enough, because what else do we do? Do we cry about it? Maybe in our own time. But I had to start talking about my problems, my weaknesses in front of other men. It was very hard, so I wasn't able to do it back then. A lot of men weren't. And I ended up drinking and drugging and being addicted and becoming homeless. I ran my family through the ringer, and I tried to kill myself. I tried to there's a lot. My mom was a huge motivating factor. She has stage 4 cancer, and she actually just got out of the ER yesterday for emergency surgery on her neck. And I thank God for her, because I realized that back then I had more of a purpose. And that was the biggest thing I struggled with when I got out the military, is a purpose. Because what do I do now? What am I worth? And those were directly correlated to each other. And I didn't know how to, because I didn't have that uniform on anymore. So that's my story though. So January 7th, 2019, I got on a plane that the rehab I went to paid for. I moved there with a bag of clothes. I'm a big ass green bag and a pillow. And that was 4 years, 24 days ago, I believe. 4 years, 25 days ago. So yeah, 25 days ago. I just picked up 4 years sober 25 days ago.
Yeah, congratulations. I saw that little coin on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. I understand because I've struggled with that feeling too. I've actually had a brain bleed before.
Yeah, they're not like all their cracked up. It's not like fun. Like I don't recommend 10 out of 10 don't recommend.
No, and then the learning to walk again. I've done that, and that sucked. And then as I had to deal with the survivor's guilt.
Yeah,
on the fact that I really didn't serve. I didn't even get a chance to serve my country because I was hurt over something completely stupid. And yeah, it messed with me a long time, and it was really good to honestly. And my thing is finding God and finding a purpose. And the thing is God gave me a purpose, and I felt so. I have it. I can't believe I have a family. I still wake up and go like, oh my gosh, that little girl, that's mine. I made that. It is I don't know, it's like when you find your purpose, it's like you just know, it just hits you, and I just got to work on it. But so it's like, I mean, this is such an amazing story. It's like military, that severe injury, the hitting of the rock bottom, and look where you are now. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yes, I am amazed by where I'm at. It's crazy. I actually right now I'm working on this this thing for my guys. My personal mission for my company is to develop leaders to be of maximum impact in the community. My vision for that is instilling the core values, which is diligence, compassion, and discipline. Our diligence, compassion, and professionalism into the working lives of the people that work for me to be of maximum service to those around them. So I'm creating goals.
Okay.
For me, there's a man that's much smarter than I am, that once told me that if you set your goals out, let's say a year from now, it's obtainable, and you know what you want to be or have accomplished or whatever in a year, reverse engineer that. Go back 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, weekly, daily, hour by hour. And what does it look like? And if you're doing those things every day, you're living your dream. That's pretty fucking powerful.
That is actually very powerful, because I'm like writing that down as you speak it.
I'll email it to you. I just made a 7-page thing of it for them.
Actually, if you wouldn't mind, I would love to say that. And do you mind if we share that to anyone that's watching? Maybe.
Oh yeah, go ahead. It's
something and then also we will be sharing your business. As you can see, there's a ticker underneath there. Everybody, that's American Veteran Roofing and Restoration. Down at the bottom, there's a phone number there. This is the owner again, Mr. Danny Byrd. And feel free to contact him. A great company. Also heard that you hire veterans.
Yeah, so I'm very big on so it goes back to the purpose thing. I didn't have a purpose. All I had was somebody that reached out a hand and gave me an opportunity. Whether I'm in relation with that person or not anymore doesn't matter. That was there, and through that I found camaraderie again. Through that I found a brotherhood again within people by hiring my fellow veterans. I also work with people in recovery as well.
Wow.
So it is very big to me to make sure that anybody who is missing their purpose again, or anybody who needs a second chance, or just a job, like even my daily life, I can't ever not be there. Survivor's guilt, whatever the hell you want, that's a big thing for me. I didn't even know what that was until it was explained to me after I got out. But if I have the ability to help somebody, goddamn it, I'm going to.
Can you tell us about the Fearless 44 and We Revolt videos that you've been doing lately? What's all the motivation behind that? And yeah, tell us about it.
So Fearless 44 is a challenge. I actually I'll call myself out. I do at least have the integrity to be like, I messed up, and I've got to restart it again. Mom ended up in the hospital, a couple other things that are happening, and I lost track of doing stuff. The Fearless 44 is a challenge for 44 days. It's part of a mastermind group called Revolt. It says we revolt against average. And it's led by a couple great guys. I don't know if I'm allowed to name them, so I won't right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just look it up. Just look up Revolt. So, but it's a daily challenge, and I actually have right there that thing is all of my goals and so on. But it's 8 different things, such as cold showers every day, a minute or 2 minutes of live video, kicking a bad habit, scroll and dial, where you scroll through your phone and you call somebody, whoever you land on, and you just talk to them about their day. You don't let them know what you're calling for. Eat health. There's a bunch of stuff. There's 8 daily things you have to do. And I joined Revolt, and I'm very, very fortunate that I did. It scared me because of the financial cost and because of it was a commitment again. It was another commitment. And I'm very big on I tell my guys all the time, like, you have to handle your responsibilities as a man. So, the more commitments you have, the more responsibilities you have. So I wanted to make sure that I could write a check that my ass could cash as well. And I signed up for it. I went to a retreat of theirs, and it changed a lot for me, mentally, business-wise. And I didn't realize that making these videos, I don't have a ton of friends. I have maybe under 3,000 for my entire life of Facebook. And I didn't realize that, I had people messaging me, asking me for help to get sober. I had people asking me for help for motivational things. I had people I didn't think I was that important, or I had something to say that was worth a damn. Like, I know I have a voice. And it's just challenged me to be mindful of that. And, I didn't realize there was another avenue which I could be of service to people. So,
yeah, you have a powerful testimony on that, on your life. It's wow.
Yeah.
We're sitting here in silence because we're listening to you. It's like, wow, that's great. Wow. That's amazing. Write a book, Daddy.
Yeah. What
seriously?
Yeah. Can you repeat what that is again? The
We Revolt.
We Revolt, or
the Revolt group stands for Revolt. It's like we revolt against average.
Okay.
It's a business owner mastermind group of entrepreneurs, and there's some very powerful people in there. And there's some people like me who are just, hey, I want to get better. I want to better myself. I don't want to let my own filters dictate my limitations, because they are non-existent.
And so the Fearless 44.
44 is a 44-day challenge that is, I don't know exactly if it's within it, but it's something that the group does as well.
Okay.
And it's 44 days of 8 daily tasks from mind, body, and spirit. And it makes you commit, and it's not the easiest thing.
Well, Danny, would you be willing, if when you do start this again, would you mind if we shared your journey when you do your 44 and your videos a day?
Yeah, it's great. It's Eat, Pray, Love with a Y chromosome. It's awesome. So just
is there what?
It said it's Eat, Pray, Love with a Y chromosome. It's
oh shit.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, we'd love to share that. Get your message.
No problem. I actually the videos are available on my Facebook. They're actually public. And I saved them all to one album. So you'll see where it's like I started it the first time, and then the second time, and then this will be the third time, because, well, life gets lifey sometimes.
Yeah, it does. But I would like to, at the end of your 44, would you like to come back on and give us an update on that? Because it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, we're very interested in it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we can just sit there when we it's like we see what we gotta do with our lives, and it's like you're calling us out, and I was like, oh dude, is that a challenge?
Yeah, because like, yeah, this what I've got going on now is not cutting it. I could stand to do a lot better myself in a lot of areas. So
me too. I know a lot. Well, thank you, Danny, for coming on our show. We're gonna wrap it up here. We've got a few announcements. Log Cabin Republicans are having their once-a-month meetup on February 8th at 7 p.m. At the Spaghetti Western at 1608 Shepherd Drive in Houston, Texas. True Texas events at our own VFW on February 9th. VFW Post 8905-21902 Northwest Freeway. Hey, speaking of that, Danny actually, Danny, didn't you actually redo that VFW?
The one in Cypress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We remodeled it. We rebuilt. Somebody else did the roof, and then we did the entire like bar area. We remodeled that entire thing, as well as changing the back like area room. But
it was in the back area for the Navy birthday ball. It was very nice. Thank you for that.
No problem.
And then on top of that, please join us conservatives and my certain minority communities, like myself. Blexit is coming. It'll be Saturday, February 11th, 2023, from 4 to 7 p.m. at Warehouse Live, 813 St. Emmanuel Street, Houston, Texas, 77003. And that pretty much wraps up our show. Danny has offered to go ahead and close us out in prayer.
Okay, so dear Heavenly Father, I ask you, Lord, that you just come to us right now in this time of need. And this community and this nation are hurting, they're struggling. I ask that you be able to mend the hearts of people that are hardened. I ask that you be able to supply the things necessary for the needs of those who are struggling. I ask that you allow people to be of service, to be of impact, to be of healing hands, to be of nurturing heart, and to be of sharp mind right now, Lord. I ask that people not take advantage of anybody. I ask that you might just be able to come to them right now, Lord, and just fill them with love, grace, and guidance. Give them some strength if they're lacking. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Well, thank you for everyone for joining us. Danny, feel free to come back. Can't wait to see what happens after your journey. And well, we're going to close out as well. Just to let you know, everybody, you know how we do it here at the Logbook. We don't just sit here and talk about find solution. Just remember, demand veteran healthcare and freedom act is on the books, and we're traveling all over the state of Texas, gathering signatures for that, and also GAPS Act. And as proof of that, we'll close with our videos. Thank you guys. Have a good night and take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hanoi Jane. I haven't forgotten. I'm a female veteran. Thank you, Hanoi Jane. We haven't forgotten, Hanoi Jane. Hit me again. Touch me. I'm a disabled veteran, and it is a